getting to companies sometimes can be almost impossible. There's too many gatekeepers, but you can go to a trade show and get to those companies, but you have to work the show correctly. So please watch this video. Okay, Dana Knowles is back. She's getting into big companies, small companies, any companies that you need to license your ideas. Dana, I want to talk about something. Last time you were on, we talked about calling, we talked about using LinkedIn, and some of the tips that you gave, I think, were just wonderful. How important is it to go to a trade show? Because I know you go to pick up companies that are looking for ideas for people like us, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How important is it? It makes a world of difference. I'll tell you, the first trade show I went to I hadn't licensed my product. It was 2018. And I was all excited because I was going to meet because a lot of inventRight members come and it's all, we're going to, hang out together, which you really kind of don't. You hang out for a little bit and then you go your own way. But I didn't have a lot of money. And I was willing to drive to Chicago and sleep in my car. It's how bad I wanted to go to the trade show or go get a hostel or I don't know, call some random person and say, hey, can I crash on your couch or whatever. But I did go to the trade show and it was really scary. I was so overwhelmed. I didn't have a plan, even though y'all told me to make a plan. I didn't have a plan. I just walked around. There were so many people there. I met a few people, but I didn't really take advantage of all the education you taught us about going to trade shows.
Yeah.
So the next time I went to a trade show, I had a plan. Like I will study the layout, I will study the vendor list, I will prioritize who do I want to go, where do I want to go. And that is where I actually met my licensee at the trade show.
Yeah, the trade shows are wonderful, but they're a little intimidating.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you've never done it before, the booths are fantastic. It's usually in a big city, Chicago, maybe New York or Las Vegas. You get there, it's crowded, and there's a lot of people, and you're there walking up to a booth that you don't know anybody, and you're trying to find the right guy that will maybe look at your idea or maybe follow up later. And they're all dressed very, very, everybody's dressed very nice. And they all look pretty serious. So it's a little bit like, can I do this? Right? And what are they thinking about me? How do you get over that fear?
Man, the first trade show I went to actually walk the floor to meet people, it was just scary. But I'm the type of person that says I'm not going to let the fear stop me, and I'm going to make mistakes. I know I'm not going to say the right things. But I got this, like, what do I want to say? What do I want to say to the person? So I just got this kind of routine of I would stand, not walk in the booth yet, but I would stand and I would like kind of scan all their product ideas. I would then, step into the booth, try to find somebody who wasn't talking to anybody, because you never want to talk to anybody or interrupt anybody. And I would just simply ask, do you have your own product development team, or do you ever look at outside ideas? That gives them the opportunity to say, we have our own inside development team, or we look at outside ideas. So if they do look at outside ideas, let's say, is there somebody here that I can talk to in product development? Usually there's not. Sometimes there is, depending on the size of the company. And then I ask them, well, do you know who I can reach out to in the company? And can I have your card? And do you have a name? And, write it down on the card. Something I learned that I take sticky notes with me. And when I walk out of the booth, I put a sticky note on the card, and I put a little note of something that to make me remember. And then I always put the name of the company on the sticky note, because I have had it where you have a sticky note on the card, you get back to the hotel room, the sticky note's off the card, you have no idea who it goes to. I had that happen. And but then again, I always will comment on somebody's something, like, oh, that's such a nice necklace, or something, just because that makes me stand out from everybody else. I'm just very well aware, like when somebody gives me a compliment, I love, we all love getting compliments. So when I give somebody a compliment, you know, not a weird or anything like that. Like I say, the guy had a nice tie or something. And a guy had on a super sharp suit one time. And I'm like, man, your suit's awesome. He was like, ooh, you know, of course he's going to talk to me. I'm being super nice to him, you know?
You-
Um, the one time, a couple of years ago, I wasn't paying attention to where I was going. I was drinking a bottle of water, and the booth was like raised a little bit. I fell right into the guy's booth, like full on the ground. Yeah, he remembers me. I wouldn't suggest doing
uh, Dana, some people want to pitch, maybe they're bringing their product, maybe a
Yeah,
sell sheet. I know I tell everybody, don't leave your sell
never.
sheet with them. They're not going
Mm-mm,
to call you back.
mm-mm,
Don't try to pitch to them because sometimes they're trying to sell and the
mm-mm.
venues really don't like that. So you follow up. But once you get all the information and you think they're a good fit, when do you follow back up with them? Do you follow like the next day or do you give them a little bit of
Mm-mm.
time?
No, I give them about 2 weeks to
Okay.
get, you know, they're more worried about fulfilling their orders from buyers and
All
doing
right.
everything they need to do and decompressing from a show. And we have to remember too, a lot of these people that do trade shows, they do trade show after trade show after trade
Okay.
show after trade show.
Oh,
They're
oh,
always going to trade shows all over the world.
okay.
So I can never expect them to get back in touch with me. But what I like about doing trade shows, this is awesome. What I like about doing trade shows is in the subject matter of an email. Well, usually you always get your business card or something. I mean, a lot of people you're going to find out are the people you need to talk to or handing you your business card. Business cards have cell phone numbers on them a lot of times, which
Okay.
is they're handing me a card. They're giving me permission to call them on their cell phone.
All right.
But in the subject matter of the email, I can say follow up from 2024
Yeah.
Inspired Home Show.
Got it.
They're going to open up that email because they don't know if I'm a buyer. They don't know who I am. They're going to open up that email every time.
Another good tip. Now you're going
Mm-hmm.
to shows now for inventRight and you're
Mm-hmm.
walking the shows and you probably get what do you average about 30 companies looking for ideas for us? Is that what you
Yeah.
basically get?
Yeah. The Inspired Home Show, I got like, I think it was 35 or 38 really good. I mean, I got a lot of cards from a lot of people, follow up with them. They never responded.
All right.
But sometimes it might even take, like, I've been going to that show for, I guess, since 2018. I've been going every
Yeah.
year for you guys for the last couple of years. But, you know, sometimes it takes a while for them to get to know you.
Okay. And do they treat you differently when they know you?
Absolutely, 100%. 100%. And what's so interesting is they answer emails like immediately.
Okay.
You got to be in the game long enough. That's one thing that I think that you know, it's how long does it take? There's no timeline on it, but I'm telling you what, it does not happen quick.
Well, you know what it is too? I think when you go to a trade show, it shows them that you're spending money and time,
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
you're invested in the industry and in them. And
Mm-hmm.
so they know you're serious, right?
Yes.
And when they see
Yeah.
you, they remember you. You're right.
Yeah.
Somehow the relationship changes
It does.
completely when they see
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, something else that I do when I'm at a trade show, the buyers have their own special badge, which is usually a special color.
Yeah.
I will walk right up. The first thing they do, what do? They look at your
Look at
badge.
the
They go down,
badge.
they look at your badge, right? I'll hold up my badge and I'll say, I'm not a buyer. I tell
Oh,
them right off the bat, I'm not a buyer.
okay.
And sometimes it'll say like advisor on, I don't know, whatever I click on when I register. I don't usually say that I'm an inventor. I never put that on my badge
Okay.
just because, you know, inventor, it's just has sometimes leaves a bad
Oh,
taste
come
in their
on,
mouth.
come on.
No, I
Uh,
don't. I
I
don't.
usually take my badge and turn it upside down so they really can't see what it
Mm-hmm.
says
Mm-hmm.
that way. But I think you have to be polite right
Yeah.
away to tell them because they'll go in some pitch about their product line, everything else, and it's a
Mm-mm.
waste of time.
I
You tell
don't
them
even, and one thing I've learned about shows, this is really interesting. I'm walking down this aisle and there was a booth there and they were giving away free stuff. And you come home, pack light because you're going to come home with a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff, right? So they're giving away free stuff. Cool guy. I wish I could remember the name of his company. Anyway, and I just stopped by and I grabbed the free thing and he had a mint there or something. Nobody was around, which is very important too, that if a buyer was to walk up to him, I can see the buyer badge. I'm walking away right immediately.
Okay.
Immediately. I'm not going to continue my conversation. I'm going to be, you know what? I'll come back when you're not busy.
Good.
That shows that I understand that he's there to talk to buyers and not to
Yep.
inventors. So I'm standing there, I'm looking at his product, really cool. And I said, so how many, he had a tiny little booth, 10 by 10, little tiny booth, 5 by 10, maybe, whatever, small booth. He only had like 3 or 4 products out. And I said, so how many products do you have in your product line? I had never heard of the company. And he looked at me, he said, 2,000.
So he was a big company, but a small booth.
He was only showing new products.
Wow.
He was showing his 3 new products to buyers because he had been around for so long. All the buyers know his company. He was displaying and promoting the 3 new products that he took on.
Yeah. So Dana, one thing I
Anyway.
want to touch upon before we exit out, a lot of people think I need to buy a booth. If I'm going to license an idea, I want to buy a booth because a buyer or maybe a potential licensee, if someone's going to come by and they're going to discover me. Is that truthful?
That'd be like hitting the lottery.
All right.
It's never going, and you're stuck in your booth the whole time.
All right.
No, and buyers, and there's buyers come to the shows to buy products, and they're going to go to the bigger companies. They have appointments with them, whatever. Companies are in their booth to sell to buyers. They are not walking around the show looking for new products.
Okay.
They are in their booth.
But somehow I believe if I have a booth, some magical person's going to discover me.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't think it works at all. Here's the other thing to you guys. If you only have a prototype, you don't want to show your prototype at a booth where everybody's walking by and seeing it. The wrong people are looking at it. Yeah. So, because I know a lot of people think this booth is a great idea. It's expensive. You have to walk a show, work the show, and seek out those people you want to pound the door down.
Right. Now, if you have 10,000 units sitting in your garage that you want to sell and you want to create your own business and venture it, maybe by all means get a booth and hope a buyer comes by and says that we want a bunch of these and it has happened. But for licensing purposes, never get a booth. Never. Work. That's a waste of time and a waste of money. Big money.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephen.
And
I could talk forever. I could talk forever about licensing. Well,
thank you for working the shows. I know you do a really great job, and it's not that
love
easy. We have a lot of our members that go to the shows, and they're a little. They don't. I don't know if they're getting the value out of it because you really have to be experienced to work a show.
Yeah. Well, there's something that I do that prior to the show. Like I said, I will look at the vendor list. I will have a roadmap of everybody I want to hit. I will spend hours and hours and hours on every company that I want to hit. I will go to their website. I'm going to read their about section. I want to know every product they do. I want to know everything about them. Fun story. I love stories. Fun story. Inspired Home Show. There's a company. They're overseas, but big company. I got into them. I got in and I wanted in. Went to their website. The owner of the company invented the toothbrush. So you know what I said? The first thing I walked into the booth and I knew the guy and I recognized the guy I wanted to talk to because I found him on LinkedIn and I walked in and I went right up to him. I knew his name, shook his hand, and I said, "It is such an honor to be standing in the booth that your founder invented the toothbrush." And he's like, "Yeah, I know this. Who do you think he's going to remember?" Well, he's going to remember me. So it's just like studying. We have to study it. We have to work it. It's not going to happen organically. It's not going to happen by osmosis. We have to do our work, but see, I love that kind of stuff. I'm a weirdo, geeky, weird. I will spend hours and hours and hours just research. I was just in Walmart a little bit ago and I'm walking down the aisle, taking pictures of stuff. I've had stores say to me, "Can I help you?" When I start taking pictures of the backs of products because I look, no, thanks. I'm just doing some research.
No, I think what I think we're all going to take away from this is that you have to do work. It does take work, and you have to be prepared, and you have to be able to really have a goal in mind and how to hit the goal and have that experience, how to hit that goal. So it's always a roadmap. I tell everybody, it's not a patent problem. It's not a prototype problem. It's not a starting a business problem. It's a knowledge problem. And you're thinking that if I just have a great idea, everything will fall into place. It doesn't really work that way. It takes a lot of time. Dana, thank you for coming on, doing a second YouTube video for us at inventRight
They'll know
TV.
We did one right after the other because I haven't changed. My background haven't changed.
Doesn't matter. We do them back to back to back. People know.
Okay. Okay, good.
Dana, thank you very much. I want to thank everybody for
Anytime.
watching this video. Please subscribe down below. We're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers. We need your help because if we can hit it before the year's out, we're going to give away some big prizes. So Dana,
Yeah.
thank you very much. But one thing, wait a minute. One thing I want to mention, we didn't talk about it. Gateway. I always want to talk about Gateway at the very end. You guys, if you need help reaching out to companies, finding the right companies and the right people with the right marketing material, doing everything right, please reach out to us at Gateway. We're doing all the work for you to make your life a little bit easier because sometimes it's who you know, and this is not easy to do. Please call us down below.
Yeah. Book a call with me. I'll be glad to talk to you all about it.
All right. Thank you so much, Dana.
Thanks,
Bye,
Stephen. Bye-bye.